How many of kids, our kids, that when we go out to eat something or when we travel to a different side of the world, and then we see so much beautiful things and we now thought about our parents. When we go to a fancy restaurant and we eat some type of food that is so good and delicious, how many of us actually think of, oh, my mother and my father have never had a chance to eat this kind of food. I will take them here. We barely think that way. Because everything is me, I. Because of this I, we create a lot of dramas. Because of this I, we create suffering to ourselves and the others and our family members. And we keep on expecting this world to be at peace, the war to end. Of course, everybody's seeking for that. We are all human beings and all beings seek for that moment where all kind of war conflicts to be ended. But it cannot happen when we still fighting. Right? Because we are adding more war to the actual war out there. Then how can it stop? How can it end? Because whenever we see things that we are dislike, whenever we see things that we are not happy with, we add negative energy to that. Once we added those negative energy into that situation, that grow bigger. 10 people, it grow bigger. 100, 1,000, it keep on growing because we all keep adding to it, right? We are not taking it out, but we are adding more. So how can it shrink? How can it reduce? How can it decrease? Instead, it will keep on increasing and growing bigger and bigger and bigger. That is what us, all humans, are doing every day. Keep on adding more chaos to this world. For that reason, I truly believe most of us here and all those people who follow online because they don't have the chance to participate in person, we love peace. We love peace. We are seeking for peace and kindness and compassion. That is why we are showing up. That is why we keep on following this mission, isn't it? So if we do, then what is our next step? Because I don't want to spend time talking and you don't want to spend time listening and then at the end everything go back to the old day, right? We want to change. I want to change. All of us here want to change for the better. And so the question is, after listening to the talk, what is the next step that we should do, could do, to bring peace to ourselves and to end conflicts within our family first? Let's hold on into the world. Let's start it from ourselves, start it from our own family, our own neighbors, and then spread out that way. So, there's war right here inside. We are fighting with ourselves. We are fighting with, I want to shout, I want to say this, I want to do this, and I want to think this way, but that mind is still acting up, it's not following you, it's not following us, right? And that is why we suffer. We are fighting with ourselves within our mind. Because within one thought, within 1 second, there are millions and millions of thoughts popping up, rising and falling. But we could not catch them because we don't have that mindfulness. We don't have that concentration because we are doing a lot of things at once. Who are here? Who's here that is multitask? Raise your hand. A lot of us are here and online are multitasking ourselves every day. So while we are multitasking ourselves, how can we stay focused? Now come back to that book. Taking the book down, out, put it on the table, opened it. All those movements are started from this mindset. I want to read that book. Now, step by step, I walk to that self, take that book, put it on the table, open the first page. That thought popped up and pulls you off. That phone start to ring, it pulls you off from that book. Then who is reading it? Which one is focusing in that book and which one is focusing on here and here and here and here and there and there? Because we are multitasking ourselves. We keep doing that. So how can we have that strong concentration? And that reason, that is why our kids also cannot focus in school. Because they try to read as well like us, but they couldn't. They tried to do their homework, but they couldn't because all the social media, because of all those movies, games, and things like that. Right? We are following social media a lot, isn't it? Yes? Okay, what are we watching and what are we searching online? Here we go again. I shouldn't ask this question because every time when I ask you say waffle piece. Okay, then now let's dig into it, okay? That's fine if you search for waffle piece. But now, no, I want to open this up, okay? Rescuing dog, okay, now Aloka. Okay, so when you go online, you search for waffle piece, you follow the talks, you watch those live stream just like today, right now, you are on live stream, okay? Let me ask you one thing, because 2 nights ago, I talked at the one of the conference hall at the hotel. I talked about soccer, okay? Because of soccer, because of game, we cannot stay focused on what we're doing. All these men are laughing, so probably they are one of them. Okay, now because of you saying that you are checking and watching waffle piece, so now I ask you about the waffle piece. When you go to the waffle piece, you watch and you listen. Are you sure that you only listen to what I said? Who can stay focused within my talk online? Please raise your hand. That is so sad. So sad. You see, then what is the purpose of going online and search for waffle piece? Enjoying? Now, next question. What's the reason for you not to stay focused and listen to my talk? Distraction? From? Comments. There you go. Now we talk about that now. Okay, that is what I want to ask you. Comments. So, based on my knowledge, a live stream like this, and me sitting right on top and then talk, right below that are all the comments, right? And heart and thumbs up and all those things, isn't it? Okay, that's my knowledge. I know that. And so when you see somebody say something that is so disrespectful, not listening to the monk, why is that guy walking back and forth while the monk talking? The live streamer, would you please don't talk too much? All that thing popping up on that screen, and then people started to read one line after another. What does that mean? Still suffering. Still suffering when you listen to the talk of the Walk for Peace monk. So what is the purpose? You see, anything, if we are not be able to stay focused, which is the talk, then that is what's going to happen. Then we defeat the purpose of listening to the talk. We defeat the purpose of joining the walk for peace. Can we just be mindful while listening, using this ear and this eye, be mindful? Because last two nights I said, because of these eyes, two eyes, are looking for the things that is not desirable, not what you expect, then it go inside with your brain, I guess, and then your mind and your brain talking with each other. That person is so rude. That person is so this and that. And then from there, our minds start to talk a lot. And you can't hear anything about the monk say. So if we be able to focus looking at him, listen to his talk, and be mindful with it, if you see any comments popping up, it's okay. Because your concentration is not on those comments. Your concentration is on the monk and his speech. Isn't it? So if we stay focused on that, then we get the purpose, then we get the message. Then we know what to do next. There you go. Now we should know what to do next, because during the talk, he will say, stay focused. Now we still say stay focused, seeing the things that is desirable or undesirable without reaction, without react. Listening to things that is not nice, but we are the one who have a choice not to react. Then right at that moment, within that 1 hour or 2 hour listening and watching, you have a peaceful hour. You learn a lot of things. Even though I know I talk about these back and forth, but I hope you are not bored yet. Okay? But every time when I talk, I try to show you the reality. What actually we encounter every day. And so if we really wanted to change and wanted to do the next step, then the first thing I would ask is focus. Concentration, which is mindfulness. See, now we come back to mindfulness. After all that, we still have to come back to mindfulness, because without mindfulness, we can't do all those. So the question is, when are you going to practice mindfulness? Right now? Every day? All the time. All these good stuff we've been saying, but are we doing it? Because we promise to ourselves a lot. We promise to ourselves a lot. I promise from here on I will do this and I will do that. Yes, but only 1 or 2 try, and then that's it. Give up. We failed a lot of time. We failed badly. But when we are making money, when we have to travel, when we hang out with friends, when we go to the restaurant, even though you're tired, you still make it happen. Right? What about when you need to focus, when you need to breathe in and breathe out and stay focused? Oh, I'm so tired. I can't do this. I'm gonna go take a nap. I will do it after. I will take a walk. I will take a bath. And then come out and lie on that bed. Open that phone. Now check on Waffle Piece, I guess. And at the end, the same thing. So what is the reason? I don't know. Because I've been talking about these a lot, but I still don't get it. Why can't we do it? Just only one simple thing. I beg you to write out that message. Today is going to be my peaceful day. I beg, okay, I'm not telling, I'm not asking, I beg you to do that. Why? It's because that is the way to train our mind to come back. That is a way to train our mind to stay focused. Concentrate on that while we're writing that down. Concentrate with our eyes and our mind together. Because our eyes are keep looking for things, searching, scanning. Every little thing is everywhere. Don't you believe so? Don't you think so? Let's say when we walk out there, how many of us actually can stay focused within your footstep? Just walk one way straight. Without looking for people, looking for this and that. And then when you see somebody walk across you, you look at that person. And if you see anything that is beauty, you would try to sneak and look at that. Isn't it? We can't even stay focused within that path. That is why I ask to use these eyes to read, to see beautiful things, which is, today is going to be my peaceful day. If you be able to see those lines, that one line, single line, I believe so, it only take one line on that page, that notebook. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Just look at that and read it over and over with our eyes, silently. Now, at that moment, we are not looking at soccer. We are not searching for Waffle Piece online. We are not searching for news. We are not seeing anything online or on that television. Instead, only that message. Today is going to be my peaceful day. The only thing that you are looking at that moment. At that time, you stop. At that moment, you stop thinking about the bad thing, unwholesome thing. At that moment, you stop saying unwholesome things. At that time, you stop doing unwholesome things. These three, we stop completely while we are seeing that and reading it. Isn't it better? It should. It should be better because we are not committed into bad karma. Thinking bad, talking bad, doing bad. Now, come to the next step. We are speaking out. Read it out loud with our mouth, pairing with our mind. Today is going to be my peaceful day. Say it out loud to tell the universe that. Tell our family that. Maybe when they wake up, they grumpy. And then when they listen to you, today is going to be my peaceful day. They would think about it. They would think about it. They would also, you are reminding your family to do that as well. When you do that. And then when we say that out loud means the mind, the eye, the mouth have to put together in order for it to say it, to speak it out. Isn't it? So the mind is not thinking about the unwholesome thing. The eyes the mouth is not saying unwholesome thing, and this body not doing unwholesome thing, we stop creating bad karma, but we creating wholesome deeds. So why not? That is what we mission in life. We do a lot of things, but most of the time we do it with a really not a wholesome thought, not a wholesome speech, and not a wholesome action. That is why we suffer. That creates suffer. So that is the reason why I encourage you all to practice from there. We have to practice step by step from small and growing bigger. And writing that down is so small, so simple, that anybody could do it. And of course, you cannot do that if you don't give yourself a chance. You would give yourself a lot of chances to do a lot of things, but not that. I proved that to you already. Earlier I asked, only a few of us are writing that down. Who wrote that down? Please raise your hand again. I ask you a question. So for those who writing that down every day, have it changed your life, the way of living every day? Please. Yes? See, that is the result. Because every time after you walk out that door, remember I say we rush out that door, we go to work, go to school, go hang out with friends, travel. When we rush out that door, everything starts to come. You would encounter a lot of things, will meet a lot of people, and then from there, our minds start talking a lot. And so if you remember that statement, and of course we all already memorize it by heart already, because that statement is so simple. But what is the difference between we learn by heart, we memorize that statement, with us writing that down? Because when we already remembered it by heart, when things happen, it didn't have enough power to remind us. Why? Because we didn't put any effort into it. Right? Because we remember a lot of things, not just that. But when things happen, we still react the old ways. But for those who write that down and practice that way, during the day when things come to them, that statement, that message, will remind them right away, I wrote that down. I put a lot of effort into it. If anything that I put effort and time into it, I would not want to ruin it. I will keep it. I will protect it. If you don't put any effort into it, you think that is not yours. But when you put effort into it, just like you holding tight to something that you love, your family members, your partner, that car, that house you love so much, and you hold it tight into your hands because you're afraid of losing it, right? That's why we're holding it tight. Same thing. When you put a lot of time and effort and energy in writing this down and practice mindfulness every day like that, automatically you will see those are part of your life. You will see how important that is to you because you have spent a lot of time and effort into it. You're holding it tight like a gem for yourself because it is helping you, right? So we will hold it tight, and then when things happen, that will pop up. I put a lot of time and effort. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to lose that now. I hold it tight to my heart. I will spend time listening to my heart. That is how it saves our life, save our day. just from a very simple statement, simple action, which is writing that down. We don't have to think big, seriously. When we talk about peace, when we talk about world peace, we are thinking in all about the big things. We don't need to do all that big things. Just very simple thing that we could do that could change our life. Then from there, we start to move forward with bigger things. Once our mind is calm, settled, stay focused, we could do a lot of bigger things. And every time you put time and effort into it, it will give you a best result ever. But for right now, act like we are babies, learning how to crawl, learning how to stand up, learning how to walk, and then run after later. We don't need to run now. Crawling, just crawl first. Teaching our mind, it's just like we are teaching our kids, our baby. Just like that. So don't think anything bigger than what we can do right now about this piece. Start from there. Would you please do that? Yes? Yes. That is how you walk with us. And you already promised us, isn't it? Yes. You promised with the monks that you will walk with the monks. Right? Of course, walk in spirit. Okay, you walk in spirit means you are practicing that. That is how you walk with us to change this world. But it needs a lot of effort. It needs a lot of people walking together to change, not us alone. If we walk for the rest of our life, only these 19 venerable monks, or even join 1,000 venerable monks, we cannot change anything. But all of us walk together every day, we make a big impact to this world. Positive energy will radiate it, spread it to the universe. The universe will receive it, spread it out to all the beings in this earth, on this earth. And then what happened? We will live peacefully, kinder to each other, and more compassionate to each other. So I hope that this message will continue to inspire you to practice mindfulness. And I hope that we know already how to practice mindfulness through the breathing, yes? Who needs me to repeat the way of practicing mindfulness through this nostril? Okay, let's start it over again, okay? Every day after you write that statement down, okay, when you first, before bed, tonight, this is our test, what you should do tonight. When you go home, the first thing what you should do. Tonight when you go home, what are you going to do first? Yeah? Hello? What's going on? Oh, hold on into that piece of paper. Tomorrow morning, okay? Now tonight we do different thing. First of all, you need to rush to the bathroom because you've been holding. People probably don't have enough restroom for everyone. So when you go home, the first thing is for you to stand up, right? Isn't it? You have to stand up from here.
There is a quiet, gentle yearning that lives within each of us. A shared human longing that transcends our borders, our backgrounds, and our daily routines. We all seek peace. We look out into a world that often feels fractured and chaotic. And we hold a deep, collective hope for harmony, for kindness, and for a space where compassion can truly flourish. Whether we gather together in person beneath the serene shade of a temple, or whether we tune in from living rooms halfway across the globe, we are united by this singular, beautiful intention. We come together to reflect on the importance of inner peace, recognizing that the harmony we so desperately wish to see in the world must first be cultivated within our own hearts. It is a shared journey, one that requires us to walk together in spirit, bringing loving kindness into our everyday lives so that all beings may be well, happy, and peaceful. Yet, the question that always remains is how we actually step onto this path. Not just as a grand philosophical idea, but as a lived, breathing reality in the midst of our modern lives. To begin this journey, we must first be willing to look closely at the root of so much of our daily suffering, which often begins with a very simple, almost imperceptible habit of the mind. Imagine, for a moment, that you are traveling to a beautiful part of the world, or perhaps you are sitting in a wonderful restaurant enjoying a truly delicious meal. In that moment of joy and abundance, where does the mind naturally go? For many of us, the experience is entirely centered on ourselves. We marvel at the taste, we enjoy the scenery, and we bask in our own pleasure. But how often do we pause in that exact moment to think of those who gave us life? How often do we think to ourselves that our parents may never have had the chance to taste such incredible food, or to see such breathtaking sights, and wish deeply that we could share this profound joy with them? We barely think that way because our default setting is so often focused on the me and the I. This simple lack of expansive awareness, this intense focus on the self, is where so much of our internal and external drama is born. Because everything revolves around our own desires, our own preferences, and our own immediate gratification, we unknowingly create suffering for ourselves, our families, and our communities. We construct walls around our hearts, defending our egos and our viewpoints. And in doing so, we isolate ourselves from the deep, interconnected reality of life. The ego is loud, it demands to be heard, it demands to be right, and it demands to be satisfied. And as long as we allow this narrow, self-centered mindset to govern our days, we will continue to find ourselves entangled in conflict, missing out on the profound beauty of gratitude and the deep, abiding joy that comes from recognizing our shared humanity. We look out at the world and we ache for the wars to end. Every human being, at their core, is seeking that elusive moment where all conflicts cease, where weapons are laid down, and where communities can heal. But we must ask ourselves a difficult and necessary question. How can the wars out there ever truly end if we are still fighting so fiercely within ourselves? When we harbor anger, when we let our frustrations dictate our actions, and when we create drama in our own homes, we are actively adding our own personal wars to the actual wars happening in the world. We are pouring more chaos into a vessel that is already overflowing. Whenever we encounter something we dislike, or whenever we face a situation that does not meet our expectations, our immediate reaction is often to inject negative energy into it. We complain, we judge, and we resist. But once we add that negativity, the situation does not improve, it only grows larger and heavier. If 10 people add their frustration, the burden grows. If 1,000 people add their anger, it becomes an overwhelming force. We are constantly adding to the world's heaviness rather than taking it away. How can the chaos possibly shrink or decrease if we are contributing to it every single day? Instead of diminishing, the discord keeps growing bigger and bigger, fed by the countless small, unmindful reactions of humanity. If we truly love peace, if we are genuinely seeking kindness and compassion, we must realize that our participation matters immensely. We cannot simply listen to talks about peace and then return to our old, reactive ways of living. If we want things to change for the better, we must take the next crucial step. We must decide what we can do to bring an end to the conflicts within our own minds and our own families first. We cannot hold the entire world's peace in our hands until we learn to hold our own. Right now, there is a war happening inside us. We fight with ourselves constantly. A part of us wants to shout, wants to react, wants to assert our opinion, while another part knows that this will only bring more pain. Our minds are restless, jumping from one grievance to the next, refusing to settle, refusing to follow our highest intentions. In just one single second, a million thoughts rise and fall. And because we lack true mindfulness, we are swept away by the current. We suffer because we cannot catch these thoughts before they turn into hurtful words or damaging actions. A significant reason we cannot catch these thoughts is that our attention has become dangerously fragmented. We live in a society that champions multitasking, and almost all of us practice it every single day. We try to do everything at once. And as a result, we are truly present for nothing. Imagine deciding to read a book. You have the thought. You walk to the shelf. You pull the book down. You place it on the table. And you open the first page. All of these movements start with a single, clear mindset. But the moment you read the first line, your phone rings, or a notification flashes. Instantly, your attention is pulled away. Who is actually reading the book anymore? Part of your mind is on the text. Part is on the ringing phone. Part is wondering who is calling. And part is thinking about what you have to do later. Your focus is scattered in a dozen different directions. Because we are constantly multitasking, we have lost the ability to cultivate strong, steady concentration, and we see the heartbreaking results of this not just in ourselves, but in our children. Our kids struggle to focus in school. They try to read, they try to do their homework, but their minds are trained to seek the constant, rapid-fire stimulation of social media, movies, and games. We are all deeply entangled in the digital world, endlessly searching for the next distraction. We go online searching for videos of rescued dogs, sports highlights, or even live streams about peace. But our attention spans are so fractured that we struggle to stay with any one thing. We might tune into a talk about mindfulness, but are we truly listening? Often, the answer is sadly no. Even when we deliberately seek out positive, uplifting content, our minds are hijacked by distractions. You might be watching a beautiful transmission on loving kindness, but right below the video or streams of comments, someone leaves a disrespectful remark. Someone else complains about a person walking in the background of the video. Suddenly, you are reading the comments instead of listening to the message. You are judging the commenters, getting annoyed at the distractions, and having a full internal dialogue about how rude people can be. Your mind and your brain are busy talking to each other about the perceived flaws of the situation, and the actual message of peace is completely lost. This reveals a profound truth. We are still suffering because we have not learned how to govern our own attention. If we cannot stay focused on a message of peace, if we are so easily derailed by the minor annoyances of a chat box, then we defeat the entire purpose of showing up. Can we learn to just be mindful while listening? Can we use our eyes and our ears with intention? Our eyes naturally seek out things that are undesirable, looking for flaws and things that do not match our expectations. This information goes into our brain. Our mind reacts, and we are swept away by a tide of judgment. But we have a choice. We have the profound capacity to observe without reacting. When we practice true concentration, we can look at the speaker, listen to their words, and remain completely anchored in the present moment. If a distracting comment pops up on the screen, it is okay, because our energy is not invested in it. Our concentration is held steady on the intention of peace. If we can simply stay focused, we actually receive the message. We learn how to see things that are desirable or undesirable without an immediate knee-jerk reaction. We hear things that might not be nice, but we exercise our profound power to choose not to react to them. In doing so, for that 1 hour, or even just for a few minutes, we grant ourselves the beautiful gift of a truly peaceful mind. We know that we must stay focused, and we know that we need concentration, which is the very essence of mindfulness. After all our seeking, we always arrive back at this one truth: without mindfulness, nothing changes. The question then becomes, when are we going to actually practice it? We always say, now, every day, all the time. We promise ourselves that we will do better. We say that from today onward, we will be more patient, more present, more peaceful. Yet, we try once or twice. And when it gets difficult, we give up. We fail repeatedly because our commitment to our inner peace is often weaker than our commitment to our worldly desires. When we need to make money, when we want to hang out with friends, or when we have reservations at a nice restaurant, we make it happen, no matter how tired we are. But when it comes time to sit quietly, to breathe in and breathe out, to focus on our mind, suddenly we are too tired. We say we will take a nap, or a walk, or check our phones first. And we end up in the exact same cycle of distraction. We must understand why we struggle so much with something so simple. It is because we are trying to run before we have learned to crawl. If we truly want to change, we do not need to attempt massive, overwhelming shifts all at once. We need a simple, Grounded anchor. There is one profoundly simple practice that can begin to shift the entire trajectory of our lives. Writing down a single intention. Imagine taking a piece of paper, or a notebook, and writing down these simple words. Today is going to be my peaceful day. This is not just a polite suggestion, it is a vital lifeline. It is a way to actively train our minds to come back to the present moment. When we physically write those words, we are forcing our minds and our eyes to concentrate on one single, wholesome task. Our eyes are so used to scanning, searching, and darting everywhere. Think about how we walk down the street. How many of us can simply walk straight, completely focused on the feeling of our footsteps? Instead, we look at who is walking by. We check out what others are wearing. We sneak glances at beautiful things. And we judge things we dislike. We cannot even stay focused on our own path. That is why the physical act of looking at a single, beautiful sentence is so powerful. When you look at the words, "Today is going to be my peaceful day," and read them over and over silently, you are giving your eyes and your mind a safe harbor. In that very moment of reading, you are no longer searching for news. You are no longer distracted by social media. And you are no longer entertaining unwholesome thoughts. For that brief window of time, you have stopped. You have stopped thinking bad thoughts. You have stopped saying unwholesome things. And you have stopped performing negative actions. You have completely halted the creation of bad karma. Is this not a profoundly better way to spend a moment of your life? By taking this simple action, you are actively creating wholesome deeds. The practice deepens when we take the next step, speaking it aloud. When you read the words and let your mouth pair with your mind, saying, "Today is going to be my peaceful day," you are announcing your intention to the universe. You are telling your family, your friends, and most importantly, yourself. Imagine your family waking up feeling grumpy and rushed, and they hear you calmly state this beautiful intention. It gives them pause. It reminds them that they, too, have a choice in how they approach their day. When we speak this out loud, we are coordinating our eyes, our mind, and our voice into a single, unified action of goodness. We are no longer fragmented. We are whole, and we are grounded in peace. This is what is so vitally missing in our modern lives. We do so many things, but we rarely do them with a completely wholesome thought, a wholesome speech, and a wholesome action all aligned. This misalignment is why we suffer. But when we practice step by step, starting with something as small as writing down a sentence, we begin to build a foundation. Of course, this only works if we actually give ourselves the chance to do it. We give ourselves endless chances to fail at complicated things. But we must give ourselves the chance to succeed at this one simple task. For those who actually take this practice to heart, it changes the way they live. When we rush out the door to go to work, to school, or to meet friends, the world immediately begins to test us. We encounter traffic, difficult people, and unexpected delays. Our minds want to start complaining and reacting. But if we have written down our intention, if we have truly put time and effort into claiming our peace for the day, that message will rise to the surface when we need it most. There is a vast difference between simply memorizing a nice quote and actually putting physical effort into writing it down. When we just memorize something, it lacks power because we haven't invested our energy into it. When challenges arise, we easily slip back into our old reactions. But when we write it down with focus and care, we are investing a part of ourselves into that intention. Human nature dictates that we protect the things we invest in. We hold tightly to our families, our homes, and our possessions because we love them and we fear losing them. When you spend time and energy cultivating mindfulness and writing down your commitment to peace, it becomes something precious to you. It becomes a gem that you want to protect. When a difficult moment happens during your day, the memory of that effort pops up. You realize, I put time and energy into making today peaceful. I do not want to ruin it. I do not want to lose my peace. You hold that intention tied to your heart. And instead of reacting with anger, you pause. You spend time listening to your heart rather than your ego. This is how a simple statement, a simple action, can literally save your day. And over time, save your life. We do not have to think about world peace as some massive, unachievable goal. World peace does not require us to do grand, sweeping gestures right away. It simply requires us to stop adding our own chaos to the world. Starting with the quiet moments in our own mornings. Once our minds are calm, settled, and focused, we become capable of handling the bigger challenges in life. But for right now, we must be gentle with ourselves. We must act like infants learning to move. First we crawl, then we learn to stand, then we walk, and only much later do we run. We do not need to run toward global peace today. We just need to crawl toward our own inner peace. We need to teach our minds with the same patience and love we would use to teach a child. We start small, right where we are, with the breath we have right now. This is what it truly means to walk for peace. It is not just about a physical march, it is about walking in spirit. It is an internal pilgrimage. Every time you choose not to react to a negative comment, every time you take a deep breath instead of raising your voice, and every time you write down your intention for a peaceful day, you are walking with all those who seek a better world. If a few monks walk alone, they cannot change the world. But if thousands, and then millions, of us walk together in spirit, practicing mindfulness in our daily lives, we make an undeniable impact. The positive energy we cultivate within ourselves does not stay contained, it radiates outward. It spreads into our homes, our workplaces, and eventually, out into the universe. The universe receives this beautiful energy and reflects it back, helping to blanket the earth in a little more kindness, a little more compassion, and a little more light. This shared journey is the only way we will ever truly live peacefully with one another. It requires a quiet, steadfast commitment from each of us. It asks us to look at the way we breathe, the way we speak, and the way we direct our attention. And so, the invitation is always open, waiting for you to accept it. We do not need to wait for a better time or less stressful week. The time to begin is always tonight, and then again tomorrow morning, when the day ends and you finally return home, before you let the exhaustion of the world pull you back to your screens or your worries. Take a moment just to breathe. Let yourself stand still, feel the ground beneath your feet, and remember that your peace is entirely in your own hands. May this gentle practice inspire you to cherish every single moment you are given, to love life more deeply, and to walk softly upon the earth. May all beings, everywhere, truly be well, happy, and deeply, profoundly peaceful.